Hi, my name's Jonathan, and first of all, I'm really sorry that I couldn't be with you today, but I felt that this message was quite important, so I took the liberty, if you don't mind, to make a very short film about what I wanted to originally speak to you about in person. A couple of years ago, I found myself on a bridge rather like this one here, and my entire world had collapsed. I'd lost my home, I'd lost my family, I'd lost everything. And I contemplated this bridge, well, not this particular one, but a similar one. I contemplated the idea of jumping off. And things were really bad. I couldn't see any way out. My mind was confused. And so I climbed. I stood at the top of a point like this, and I was ready to jump. At that moment, I could feel someone pull me back. It was a hand. It pulled me back, and when I looked, there was this woman there. And this lady, all she did for 10 solid minutes was hold me. I didn't know who she was. Her husband came over. Eventually I spoke to them, and they said to me that they were from Luxembourg. That's all I ever knew about them. And they pulled me back. They pulled me back not just physically, but metaphorically as well. And what I want to talk to you about today is about pulling back, about pausing when things really do get bad, and what we can do about it. One thing we all know is that the NHS is really overstretched. But the thing is that we are told, and families of people who have tried to commit suicide or who are in a very, very, very bad place, they're told that, from celebrities as well, to reach out because there will be someone there for them. The problem is that this is beginning, in my opinion, to sound a bit like propaganda, because in truth, what happens for these families is that you can reach out, and because of the pressures on the system at the moment, which really cannot cope, there is no hand that is reaching back to you. We're told that it's great to talk, but who are we supposed to talk to when all there is an echo chamber? So maybe people will listen to the celebrities, or to the influencers, or to people like Harry or Meghan or whoever it might be, and they think, okay, we've got to do something. We're going to at least try to reach out. And so they reach out, and they're told, well, maybe what you should do is speak to a charity, and there are some amazing mental health charities out there who can and really do want to help. But once again, the problem that they have is that they are overwhelmed, totally overwhelmed. What can they do? If it gets too much, what they could do is that they could suggest to the family member or to the person who is actually suffering, they could say, well, maybe you should ring up your GP, or maybe you should go to A&E. And so they start a very, very winding road in terms of a journey. They will sit down at the GP, and the GP will mark them as if they're in school. They mark them from 1 to 10 in terms of how are they feeling, are they sleeping well, and so on and so forth. If they don't get a high enough score, and then the paperwork says you're not depressed enough, you're not anxious enough, it seems to be that bureaucracy rather than need begins to overtake. So let's go through the options that you really have. You could call the crisis line yet again, of course with a supply of bottled water, because you're going to definitely need that. You could call an independent charity line and speak to someone who is going to be a genuine sympathetic ear so that they can listen, but the problem then is that all they can do is listen. You could contact the local mental health care facility, but you may find that you can't get through, or you could again call 999. So let's just go through these options.
Option number 1, the crisis line. The desperate family discover that because of the lack of resources post-COVID-19 and of course the South African variant, services are completely overstretched as the NHS tries to catch up. Lines are blocked. The only thing to do is to reach for option number 4, dial 999. More about that coming up. There is option 2, the charities. Now, despite the kind volunteers, when someone is on the very last edge of giving up, they might not even be open for a chat, or giving it a go, they may become so frustrated by the endless stream of open questions, which the volunteers have been trained to deliver, that their heads start spinning round. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Mental health charities are really superb, and without them, what is already a disaster would become an absolute calamity. Without further government support, unfortunately, the sad truth is that these good people, there's only so much that they can achieve. Option number 3, the local mental health care facility. Okay, the situation is now critical. Families are frantic. Again, with the excuse of catching up after COVID, it's almost impossible to talk to anyone whatsoever. So you're left hanging, and after 20 minutes of hold music, a voice eventually comes on. And as they say, "Hello, can I help you?" the line is abruptly cut. If you should get through, the voice would suggest, try the crisis line. Or you could become so desperate that you go for option number 4, 999, which again can't cope. So suggests kindly that perhaps you go for option number 1. And so it all starts again.
The strange thing about all of this in terms of reaching out was what happened about a year later after that original bridge experience. It was a rainy day and I was in London near Brent Cross, had a cup of coffee, and then I thought I'd just go home. And on the way home I had to cross a bridge that went over the A406, that's then the road. And I was driving down this bridge, across the bridge rather, and I saw that there was something strange at the side of my eye. I don't know, I just caught something. Yeah, and I just don't know what it was, but something told me that something wasn't right. And so what I did is, I have to admit it, I broke the law. I turned the car around very, very quickly. There wasn't anyone else there at the time. And I then noticed what it actually was. There was a woman who was about to jump off that bridge. I stopped the car, I reached out, and I pulled her back. And I said to her, I know what this feels like, and I know what you're going through. It's an incredible thing. And you don't have to get to that point in terms of, really going through all this anguish in order to help people. All you have to do, all we have to do, is just listen. Yes, I know everyone says be kind, but it's not about saying be kind. It's not about being woke. It's about doing something. Whatever you can do to help this organisation, the Jordan Legacy, I really commend you to do it. And whatever we can do as a people to help each other, Let's just do it. It doesn't matter how small it is, because one small step can make the difference between someone being here tomorrow or not. Thank you for listening to me. Good luck.